What is going on, badasses around the globe? It is BADonny, and today I'm bringing you another top 5. Now today I'm going to be covering top 5 best starter Pokemon in all of Pokemon. Now I want to start off by saying that this is opinion based, so there's no reason to get offended, as well as make sure to leave a like, subscribe, as well as to comment what your guys' favorite starter Pokemon is in the comments section. But anyways, let's jump right into this video. Coming in to the number 5 spot, I have a tie between T-Pig and Froakie. Now these two starter Pokemon came from games that I really couldn't get into. I'm more what you would say an old school's Pokemon player, and I used to play like Pokemon Emerald and Pokemon Platinum, but I really just couldn't get into Pokemon X and Y, nor could I get into Black and White. Now I do have to give credit where credit is due, because these Pokemon are actually very cool. T-Pig evolves in Envor, which is a fire and fighting type, which actually reminds me a lot of Blaziken from the Hoenn region. Then you also have Froakie, who evolves in the Great Ninja, a water and dark, which we have never had that typing in any Pokemon. Like, the only Pokemon I could think of off the top of my head that actually have this typing is Crawdaunt and Cravana. Other than that, we don't have much water and dark type Pokemon in general. It's because of this and the fact that they look really cool that T-Pig and Froakie come into the number 5 spot. In the number 4 spot, it is the fire type Charmander. Now, I know there's going to be a lot of older Pokemon players that are going to disagree with me on this, but hear me out. Now, I love Charmander, but he doesn't have a place in my heart like a lot of the older players do. I grew up playing Emerald and Diamond and Platinum and all that stuff, and those were the games that really got me into Pokemon. I still love Charmander, and he's still an excellent starter type. However, I find that the Kanto region stars are very overhyped, and I hate how in Fire Red and Leaf Green your rival chooses the opposite typing. And let's say if you choose Charmander, the first two gyms are water and rock, which are Charmanders are vulnerable against, and makes this game very hard to progress on if you choose Charmander. Nevertheless, I still love Charmander, and he's one of my favorite starter Pokemon, and kind of like Pikachu, when he evolves into Charizard, he is an icon of Pokemon, and for that reason, Charmander comes in to the number 4 spot. In the number 3 spot, I have the water type Totodile. Now this is where things get interesting, because I actually found the power of Totodile by accident. Now I normally choose Cyndaquil, who evolves into Typhlosion and is an absolute beast, but I decided to change things up and go for a challenge, and I chose Totodile. Instead of finding a challenge, I found the most beast Pokemon. Now the first two gyms of the Johto region wasn't too much to brag about, but once I taught this Pokemon 2 moves, I absolutely wiped this Kanto and the Johto League in a matter of a couple of days. And that is Ice Fang and Crunch. Now, a lot of the gym leaders between Kanto and Johto are very weak to Ice types and Dark types. So I absolutely wiped this game in a matter of hours, and I was actually really surprised how easy it was for me to defeat this game. And from that point on, I chose Totodile to be my starter for every Heart Gold and Soul Silver game I played. And due to that power, that is the reason Totodile comes in to the number 3 spot. In the number 2 spot, I have the grass type Turtwig. Now, Turtwig for me is more of a personal favorite, simply because of the fact that Diamond was my second Pokemon game to ever have played. And when I bought Platinum, I played the game 3 times, once with all the starters, and to me, Turtwig felt like the best option. Now, if we look at the previous 3 generations of Grass-type Pokemon, they aren't very good. So I feel like because of that, Turtwig is very underrated. However, when Turtwig evolves into Torterra, this is where things get real, because this is when he learns Earthquake. And once Torterra does learn Earthquake, he can destroy pretty much close to half of the gyms in the Sinnoh League. Like if you look at Byron, who's a Steel type user, Earthquake destroys that. Candace, Ice type user, Earthquake destroys that. Volkner, Electric type, Earthquake destroys that. Now, after defeating all 8 gyms of Sinnoh, you proceed on to the Elite Four. Now, normally you wouldn't take a Grass type to fight a Fire type, because as you know, Flint is a Fire type user. But that's not the case with Torterra. Since Torterra knows Earthquake, he makes Flint look like a marshmallow. That's why Torterra is such beast, and why Turtwig deserves his place in the number 2 spot. Now going straight into our honorable mentions, I have majority of the starters from the Hoenn and Sinnoh, more specifically Mudkip, Treecko, Piplup, and Chimchar. Now, these Pokemon to me are other people's Charmander, Bulbasaur, and Squirtle. These are Pokemon that I grew up playing and I love them so much. Hell, I use them from time to time regardless of their typing and their power, just simply for nostalgic reasons. But when it comes to power, these Pokemon don't hold a bone to number 2 and 1 spot. And that is the reason they are honorable mentions. Coming straight down into the number 1 spot, I have the fire type Torchic. Now, Torchic for me is my Charmander simply because of the fact that he was my first starter ever. I remember booting up Pokemon Ruby and starting with Torchic simply because he was just a fire type. After playing with Torchic for some time now, he's become so much more. Just teach him a fire, a flying, and a fighting type move, and he can dominate over half of the gyms in the Hoenn region. Not to mention over half of the Elite Four. After playing Ruby, Sapphire, and Emerald for so long, I feel like Torchic was meant to be the strongest starter in these games. However, once you evolve Torchic into Blaziken and teach him Sky Uppercut, I feel like out of all the fire starter types, he is most likely the strongest. And that is the reason Torchic comes in to our number 1 spot. Now, I hope you guys all enjoyed that video. Make sure to leave a big like as well as to subscribe. And check out my previous video as well as to comment what your guys' favorite starter Pokemon is in the comment section. And I will reply to every single one of you. As well as make sure and check out my description and my friends. But other than that, I will talk to you later. Asada.